Well, there we go, folks. Great to have you here. Kurt Bonanno, this is Friday. It is Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. I love that as a theme. Let's get that music off of there and let's just have a chat. So it has been a great week. So last week I was talking about how we were going to hit the road, hop in the camper van, drive to Arkansas, and compete at the NICA Regionals mountain bike racing. Now it's for youth. It's from 5th grade to 12th grade is what NICA does. And I think this event was 6th grade through 12th grade. I think it was just 6th grade through 12th grade. Anyway, doesn't matter. My son's a senior. He was in the regional. And so we went down and we competed. This was the first regional that NICA had held. It had 11 states in attendance. So we were in Arkansas with 10 other states. And we hooked up with our Kansas teammates. They grouped us by state. And so we hung out with our Kansas teammates. And we just had an absolute blast. Now, Saturday, we get down there. Oh, we got down there bright and early Saturday morning, about 7 o'clock in the morning. We drove through the night. We got there about 7 o'clock in the morning, set the camper van up in the camp spaces that we had reserved, which was great because then we were on location for the whole time. Other teammates had done like Airbnbs and hotels and things like that. But we decided to stay on location, me and Hayden. And we prefer to be that way. The camper van's built. It's comfortable. It works. It's got a kitchen in it. Like, we're sustainable there. We're good. And I like to cook. So we end up having good meals and stuff while we're on the road. Phenomenal time. So Saturday was good and warm. Now here's the deal. Fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. That's the theme of our Friday show, right? So I have ridden about 600 miles road biking in the last 2 months. When you hear that, you should make this assumption like, holy crap, Kurt can ride a bike. Like 600 miles in 2 months is pretty good. And so I was feeling pretty confident. I pulled my mountain bike out of the truck, made sure all my gear was good, all that kind of stuff. And then we went to ride. Now I took off for a coach's ride first. The way that it works at these events with NICA is the coaches go out and preview the track first. And then we come back and we take the kids out for rides around so they can practice and see different obstacles and things. And on the coach's ride, we take off from the start finish line. We take off from the start there, we go. And it's kind of a 1/8 of a mile, straight run up. It goes up this curve and around a few other curves and into the woods. Well, as we're going into the woods, I'm thinking to myself, I feel a little bit of a burn already, like woof. And I'm, and I was like, what? Wow. And so we go through the woods. Now, truth be known, I didn't think I was going to be coaching on this trip. I thought that I had mispurchased the credentials to get to this event. So my assumption getting to the event was that I was going to be a dad and not a coach. That was my assumption. And then when we got there Saturday morning, they said, "Oh no, you can register now. If you want to play coach this weekend, you can do it. Just register now." But see, earlier they had put out content that said that you couldn't register at the event. And so I assumed I wouldn't be able to. And so no hydration, didn't eat properly the day before, no sleep, drove through the night, right? So no sleep. And I'm out there trying to ride this mountain bike. And we go into the woods and I'm huffing and puffing. And then we get to some good flowy downhill in the woods things. And I ride an enduro bicycle. Now, I don't expect you to be an expert and listen to this and know everything about mountain biking, but an enduro bicycle has about 6 inches of suspension travel, is a little bit heavier, and the geometry is different than, say, a cross-country bicycle, okay? This track is very much a cross-country track, and I'm riding a downhill bicycle, okay? So in the flowy parts and the downhill sections, I am tearing it up. I'm pulling distance on people, or I'm catching up to people's back wheels. I'm hitting a couple of jumps here and there. I'm doing a couple of drops. I'm coming through the berms really hard. Things are great. But what happens in mountain biking is you enjoy that flowy downhill section. What comes after that? Well, you got to go back up the dang hill. And as soon as we turn the corner and start pedaling uphill, I'm gassed. I'm gassed hard. And so I'm huffing and I'm puffing and I'm huffing and I'm puffing. One of the volunteers on an e-bike actually went by him and he goes, you're getting up there, son. You're going to need to cheat pretty soon. And, was just teasing me about, I should get an electric bike. Maybe that's in my future. I don't know. But for now, I'm an analog kind of guy. And so I worked and worked and worked. And I'll be honest with you, by the time we got to the end of the lap, I mean, within like a quarter mile of finishing, there's this big hill that you go up, a big, steep hill. It almost looks like the run up to a jump in Supercross, right? It's just like a wall. And I got to that and I said, you know what? I'm walking this. So I pushed the bike up to the top of the hill. I stopped at the top, made a TikTok, put a TikTok out there to support the team and, do a little ad space for NICA. And then I just finished the lap, got back to the pits. Well, as soon as I get back to the pits, the kids are excited because now it's time to go practice with them. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to teach kids how to ride in the woods when I could barely finish a lap myself? But here's the cool part. When you go out with the kids, it's not a race lap, it's a sighting lap. And so we go to like different things. So you stop and you work this, and then you stop and you work that, and you look at different things. And so you coach a little bit along the way. And it was super, super enjoyable. So I got about 14,000 steps a day while I was at the races. So a lot of walking, pardon me. And I also mountain biked over 8 miles. So fitness, definitely hit fitness, right? Fitness, focus, freedom Friday. That's what we're talking about today. So fitness is kind of there from last weekend, 30,000 steps and over 8 miles of mountain biking. That's a great weekend. That's a great weekend. No matter how you slice it, that's a great weekend. And I see people coming in live. So if you've got comments, let me see if there's any comments coming. I should see comments come through here in the Rumble platform. So if we see that, just let me know and we can go from there. Okay. So there's that. Fitness, focus, freedom Friday. So the next thing to talk about, Whole Foods. We do a lot of cooking at home. We don't do a lot of restaurant stuff, but we were on the road. And so we did sample, like we went to Waffle House. My kid's never been to Waffle House. So I'm like, dude, you got to go to Waffle House. It's like a rite of passage. So we went, we had a giant plate of hash browns, right? A meal here and there, not going to kill somebody. But we also had some processed stuff. Like we had some Fig Newtons, right? Now you're probably thinking, come on, Kurt, you're just talking about some cookies. What's the big deal, man? Eat some cookies. I'm 240 pounds. So I've reached the limit in my weight where I got to like really be curious about like, hey, what am I going to really put in here? So when we're in the camper van, I'm cooking hamburgers, right? I'm making hamburgers. We're making cold cut sandwiches from scratch. And some of the cold cuts I make, like I smoke my own meats on the grill. There's a lot of things that we do to try and make sure that we are cycling down and eating more whole foods, less preservative-based foods. And so to that end, one of the things that we do is we actually drive out of town a little bit here in Kansas. We just drive a little bit out of town. It's like an extra 10 minutes away. And we buy milk, raw milk from a farm, and it's like cream. Oh my God, it's so good. And then they have free range chickens there, right? And so we buy eggs from them as well. Now, eggs are like 50 cents more for a dozen. The milk is like 50 cents more for a gallon. But I can absolutely see, feel, and taste the difference in eating these, what I consider more natural foods. I wish I had a better way to phrase this. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not here giving medical advice or that. I'm just telling you what's working for me. And so I've been smoking and roasting our own meats, slicing those down and making lunch meats and things like that. So we do that here. We're doing the whole milk thing. We're doing the fresh eggs. Bread is something that I would love to hear me. I'm not saying I want to eliminate bread. I love bread. But we want to start making some more at home, like flour, salt, yeast, and water, right? Like we want to start making more bread here instead of, because bread used to be 79 cents a loaf, right? Do you remember those days, 79 cents a loaf at the store? Now it's $3 for a loaf of bread, and the stuff is all chemicals. I can remember I used to buy a loaf of bread from the grocery store, and if I didn't eat it within 3 or 4 days, it would start to turn green, right? It would start to mold. It would start to do stuff. We had bread from the store in our pantry here It had to be 2.5, almost 3 weeks old. It still had like the end pieces in the bag, and there was no sign of mold or deterioration there. Now, that should tell you like this is not a whole food. This is not something that I should be putting in my body. Something's wrong with this, right? And so for me, Fitness Focus Freedom Friday is fitness. Yeah, I'm headed to the gym today. So as soon as this video is done, I'm off to the gym. So headed to the gym, still mountain biking, still exercising. It's getting cold outside here, but we're still making that happen, right? I didn't tell you about Sunday at the event for the NICA Regionals. So at the night, I'm so proud of my son. So he did better than I did. Okay, we woke up Sunday and it was frigid, cold, really cold. Saturday was like warm, almost hot. Sunday, frigid, freezing cold in the morning. So we get up, we head down, we see the rest of the teammates at the pit area. We start planning out what the day is going to look like. Hayden's race is supposed to be around 1 o'clock. They had changed his registration from being in the varsity class, which is the top class, right? They changed him from being in varsity to being in what they call JV1, which is one step down from varsity. And then they said, oh, you're going to be in the same class that you raced in the spring. And we said, yeah, but he's supposed to be varsity next season. And they said, okay, but we're going to put him in JV1 for the regional, and then he'll be varsity next year. We're like, okay, whatever. So they moved him, took him out of his pre-assigned race where he was gridded in the first wave. He would have had a great advantage in that race. They took him out of that and they put him in JV1. Okay, great. No problem, right? He's still supposed to be gridded in the first wave, and there's like 3 or 4 waves in this race. And as the grid is happening for the event, the first 2 waves are gridded. They're still calling the third wave. Hayden, I see him all the way in the back waiting for him to be called to grid. And as they're gridding the third wave, the first wave takes off. They're gone. So the race starts. Well, he's supposed to be in that part of the race, but he's not. He's all the way in the back. And they grid the third wave. The second wave goes off, right? Now we're waiting for the third wave to go. And there's a handful of kids there. And the guy calling the names goes, oh, you must have been late. You must have missed your name getting called. No, we didn't muster anything. You didn't call it. We've been here the whole time. Turns out Hayden's not on the list. So then I go, well, just let him race the varsity race. That's the next race anyway. Let's just put him where he's supposed to be. Put him back where the original plan was. And then Hayden and our head coach are like, look, he already ate lunch when he was supposed to. He's already hydrated when he was supposed to. He's already done his supplements when he was supposed to be in this race. And if he raced an hour or 90 minutes from now, his body's off schedule for nutrition. I'm like, okay, whatever you want to do. And so I'm like, well, what do they want to do? So the league said, you can start at the end of this race. So here the kid was supposed to start in like 30th place, but now he's starting in like 120th place. I was livid. I almost became one of those baseball parents. I did a really good job of controlling myself, but I was not happy. And I made it clear, hey, I'm not happy. I'm not happy, but I'm not going to pitch a fit and throw stuff. So Hayden said he was good to go, and he seemed to like just adjust to it. He just seemed like, okay, well, whatever it is, it is. I'm just going to be in the race. The wave takes off. Boom. He's in last place. Last place. Takes off. I run off into the woods so I can see him through the first set of turns in the woods. And that means he's gone maybe, I don't know, a little bit over a quarter mile and through a few turns, right? Over a quarter mile, through a few turns. And I see him coming, but wait a minute, where is he at? He's halfway through that wave of kids already. He's already passed 15 or 16 kids. And as I'm watching him go down the trail into a couple of S curves and over a big obstacle, he passed 2 or 3 other kids before getting to the big obstacle. He was on rails. He did really well. He ended up passing about 40 kids in the race. And then reality hit, and it's like he's a senior. It's the first regional ever, right? So it's his first and his last regional. He can't participate in next year's regional because he will have already aged out of the series. So I had to like reformulate. Now, you've heard me say this before. You need to find the opportunities within the obstacles, right? So here's the opportunity within this obstacle. Did he get screwed over on registration? Yes. Did he get screwed over on the gridding? Yes. Did he did he adjust? He absolutely adjusted. And he went out and worked on his racecraft in a race where he was able to pass about 40 kids. That level of confidence as his last race experience before the next season starts, I think is going to be a very positive event. So he got to work on his racecraft through this event rather than, struggling with the top 10 kids at the front of the race. So I think it might actually have been a blessing in disguise. But when it happened, I was not happy about it. Was not happy at all. When he finished the race, he was in good spirits. He was pleased with his performance. We had a couple of cheeseburgers back at the camper van, and then we packed up and we headed home. It was a great, great trip. Okay. So bounce onto that. We talked about fitness with the mountain biking and, like I said, going to the gym today. Whole Foods, talked about that. The next thing I wanted to cover was shows. In fact, if I go over here and change this to presentation mode and go into a screen share, I'm going to share with Future of Cloud Hosting. Yeah, here we go. The Future of Cloud Hosting. This is with Suhaib Zahir. He was our guest on the WP Tonic show this week, and what a fascinating conversation. He is the general manager of Cloudways with DigitalOcean. So if you know anything about the internet, DigitalOcean is like this giant hosting provider that a lot of people, get their droplets from, or however you want to phrase that, for internet hosting. And so Suhaib has experience with Bluehost and with other brands in the space, but now he's with Cloudways and he's the general manager. And we got to have some really great in-depth conversation with him about, hosting and what it's like with Cloudways and what artificial intelligence is doing to the hosting situation and all of those kinds of things. And so it worked out to be just a phenomenal conversation. I was so pleased talking to Suhaib. We connected on LinkedIn afterwards. He was happy with the interview. We were happy with the interview. We talked a little bit about the WP Engine thing with Matt Mullenweg and the Automatic crew. So we got to talk about that a little bit. That's kind of a taboo subject to bring up with Cloudways, but he was very, very gracious with that. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch with Suhaib. Now, I am a former Cloudways client. I used to put clients in Cloudways all the time. Here's what I found. My experience in working with Cloudways is it's really great for projects that are going to scale. So if I'm building a website for somebody and I think it has the chance or the opportunity to really succeed or scale over time, I might recommend Cloudways because we can start out super affordable and watch the budget. But Cloudways has this really cool system where you can keep upgrading your server and get additional resources as your bandwidth requirements increase, i.e. you become more successful and put more people in your website. So I like it. Where I don't like Cloudways compared to my current host is my current host is a little more user friendly as far as like duplicating web applications, running sample websites, having extra URLs, all that kind of stuff. It's a little more flexible. I'm with 20i right now. And so I've been real happy with 20i. I'm really, really tempted to try rocket.net. I've been fans of the rocket.net guys for a while. But I think if I'm being like really, really honest about it, they're not the cheapest in town, right? And so for me, it's really a business decision. You have feelings. You're like, oh, I like that person. I want to share money with them. You have feelings like that. Like I think Ben and Chance are great dudes over there at rocket.net. But it's not the cheapest. And I don't really we just haven't really supported the clientele, to be honest with you, at Mañana No Mas that requires that type of performance attention. There, I could just kind of say it like that. We have right now, everything we're doing on 20i is more than meeting our needs. We have a reseller account and we have an upgraded cloud account that we put our higher bandwidth products on. So there's all that. Wow. Okay. Fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. Freedom. Freedom, freedom. Yeah, I'm a little crazy, I guess, today. I'm excited because I'm going to go to the gym and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cook a roast on the smoker. That's what I'm talking about with freedom. I'm working from home. I have an office at home. I've got a team all over the globe. And that gives me the chance to work when I want to work. The other day, my wife came home from work. So she came home. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and she wanted to work on the Christmas lights. So bam, I'm out there on a ladder doing Christmas lights with my wife. We're singing songs. We got the radio going. All in all, not a horrible time. Not a horrible time. And then I cooked dinner. Me and the family. We eat. We have a great time. And then after dinner, everything settles down. My wife is now working at like 6 o'clock in the morning at this job of hers. So she's going to go to bed early. So I can stay up and do the work that I would have done in the afternoon. That's the freedom to just fluctuate, to move, to go mountain biking, to go buy milk at the raw milk farm. That's the freedom I'm talking about. And so I encourage people, if you're looking to launch your own thing or have your own thing going, do it. Don't waste time. Let's get you there. Get in touch with me at manananomas.com and we can take the next steps to get you launched. Have a good one. Bye-bye.